Well, hey there, this is Pastor Scott once again. Well, thank you for joining me. As you're starting to read the Bible, whether you're an expert at reading the Bible or if you're a novice, maybe you're just beginning, you might start looking in the New Testament and reading in the New Testament, and you see where there's a quote from the Old Testament. And you go, oh, that's pretty cool. And you flip back to the Old Testament and things are worded differently. Maybe there's a few things there that wasn't in the other passage. And you're like, what's going on? Why is it do these Old Testament quotes not line up with what the Old Testament actually says? And so this is going to be a short video where I address that situation. And so one of the prime examples of this comes from Luke chapter 4, where it says Jesus picks up a scroll and he reads. And so Jesus is reading from the Old Testament. And so I'll put it up here. This is the English Standard Version of Luke chapter 4. And it says this, it says, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim liberty to the captives and recovering the sight of the blind, to set at liberty those who are oppressed, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor." And so you look at that, and there might be a footnote there that tells you that quote comes from Isaiah chapter 61. It comes from Isaiah chapter 61, verses 1 through 2. Now, I have that up here now, okay? And so you can see them side by side a little bit. And so Isaiah 61 verses 1 through 2 says this. It says, "The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me to bring good news to the poor. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to those who are bound, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor." And now, if you look, there's definitely a difference, especially when we look at this one part where in Luke, Jesus talks about recovering the sight of the blind, but that is not found in Isaiah at all. In fact, in Isaiah, it says to bind up the brokenhearted, and that is nowhere found in the Luke version. And so we look at this and we go, what's going on? Why is it if Jesus is reading from a scroll, we are having these differences? And so that's what the purpose of this is. Hopefully I can put to rest a little bit of that anxiety. But to do so, we also have to know a little bit about the original languages of the Bible. Generally speaking, what we say is the Old Testament was written in Hebrew. The New Testament was written in Greek. There's a little bit of Aramaic in that Old Testament also, but by and large we say the Old Testament is written in Hebrew, the New Testament in Greek. Where comes the issue is that in Jesus' day, when he was walking the earth, there was something called the Septuagint or the LXX. And so the Septuagint is a Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible. And so when Jesus is reading in that synagogue, in that scroll in Luke chapter 4, he is reading a Greek manuscript of the Hebrew Bible. And we have some abbreviations. I just want to show them to you just so you know. Really, it doesn't matter that much for you probably. But you have something called the MT. It's called the Masoretic text. That is the Hebrew Bible written in Hebrew. The Old Testament written in Hebrew. And then you have the LXX, which is called the Septuagint. It's got its name from a tradition, about 70 people that translated it, and all 70 came up with the exact translation of the Old Testament. Anyways, but that was in Greek. And so you have the Hebrew version and the Greek version, both of the Old Testament. almost uniformly, if you see a New Testament quote of the Old Testament, it is going to come from the LXX. What causes the confusion is that all the Bibles that we use, all of them use the Masoretic text or the MT or the Hebrew text when they went doing their translations. And so that is where the big difference lies. I'm going to be honest, there are not huge differences. There are some differences. There are certain places, especially in the books of the prophets, where maybe the Greek manuscript is a lot shorter. It leaves a lot out compared to the Hebrew manuscript. There's a portion of Genesis where it lists a genealogy and how long people live. And all of those dates are off by about 100 years. So you see some things like that. But the vast majority is the same during the LXX or the MT. So I just wanted to make you aware that's why it is. I would not question or doubt the Old Testament that we have coming to us. I think it's a quality translation. There's a lot of scholarly debate about which one is more authentic. Is it the Greek version or is it the Hebrew? Which one actually gets back to that original document that was written first? Which one gets back there? And there's a lot of debate because there's something called the Dead Sea Scrolls, which was found in, I think, the 1920s. They really started getting translated and examined more in, I think, the 60s. But the Dead Sea Scrolls are some of the oldest manuscripts that we have, and they're all written in Hebrew. And at times, those line up with the LXX, and they're how they word things and where certain things are in those books. But also at certain times, it lines up with the Masoretic text. And so there's a lot of confusion, but what it really seems like probably happened was there was two copies being transmitted, being used in the first century. For those that could read Hebrew, which was a very small portion of the population, they could read the Hebrew text. The vast majority of people read Greek, and so they would read the LXX, which is why the New Testament is written in Greek, and those individuals were using that Greek manuscript of the Old Testament. So again, there are some differences. I have never seen anything that would make me go, oh, I cannot possibly believe in this one, whether it's the MT or the LXX. So I don't want you to lose faith based on that. And again, this is a very small portion. It's not every word is different. It's a small portion of the Old Testament that there's at least a little debate as to which one would be the more authentic version, the LXX or the MT. MT being Hebrew, LXX being Greek. Hope that didn't confuse you a little bit deeper than maybe what you was wanting for an introductory type question about why does the Bible read differently in the New than the Old. But I just wanted you to be aware. And I think if we try to hide some of those things, that causes some mistrust. And I certainly don't want you to think I'm trying to hide anything from you. So that is really where it comes from. And I can show you books that go into deep detail on this, and some of them make a real strong push for the LXX, some for the MT. And so there's still some scholarly debate, but like I said, I've never seen anything that would make me lose faith in one versus the other. But all the Bibles we have uses that MT, that Hebrew copy of the Old Testament in their translation. I believe the only exception is I did see one where it's called an Eastern Orthodox Study Bible, and the Eastern Orthodox Study Bible uses the Septuagint, the LXX. But every other Bible you buy, it's going to be the Hebrew version. You can buy Septuagints as a separate copy. Usually they don't come in the Bible, but you can buy a physical copy of a Septuagint if you really want. I have a digital copy that I consult on a fairly regular basis when I'm dealing with the Old Testament. But honestly, I still think that's probably going a little bit deeper than what most people would do. So that's the difference. I hope this video has been beneficial, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me at the church.